Thanks for stopping by to check out my latest video. Today it's about Fly.io. As you can see in the screenshot that I created, it's about edge computing, having a global reach using Docker, content delivery network. Some of it's free. There's CLI tools. It's for developers, modern technology. So it is a developer platform that helps deploy applications closer to the end users by distributing them around the world. It provides developers with a way to run their applications in multiple locations simultaneously, aiming to improve performance. It can reduce latency and offer a better experience for users regardless of their location around planet Earth. Some of the notable features are application distribution. It automatically deploys and scales applications to multiple locations globally, so that ensures that users access the application from the nearest location, reducing latency. Anycast networking. Fly.io uses Anycast IP addresses, allowing user traffic to be automatically routed to the nearest global instance of the application. Has a built-in CDN. The platform provides a built-in content delivery network for assets, further improving the delivery speed of static content. Private networking. Applications deployed on Fly.io can communicate with each other over private networks, enhancing security. Customizable edge applications. Developers can write and deploy edge applications that allow for custom logic to be executed at the edge closer to end users. Docker support. Developers can package their applications as Docker containers, which can then be deployed to Fly.io. And I mentioned the CLI tool. It has a command line interface that simplifies deployment and management processes, which we will be taking a look at as I walk through using the tool and deploying an application and then monitoring it in the dashboard that Fly.io provides. Also, there's integrations. It integrates with various languages, frameworks, and tools that I will point out in one of the web pages, making it easier for developers to deploy different types of applications. So basically, Fly.io aims to combine the benefits of edge computing. That's where computation happens closer to data sources or users and traditional cloud services, giving developers a platform to build and deploy applications that can serve users globally with high performance. I just think this is really awesome technology. I like seeing these newer companies and technology coming on the scene and seeing how to use the tools. So again, I thank you for stopping by, and I hope you find something useful in this video. In this video, I'm going to take a look at a product called Fly.io. And so I'm running it inside of a Windows sandbox. And if you haven't used the Windows sandbox before, you can take a look at 2 recent videos that I made to see how to set all that up. So I have it running here inside of a Windows sandbox virtual environment. And I really like this approach if you want to try out new technology and not affect your main machine in any way. It's really easy, and it only takes a minute or two to install the tools you need if you have a fairly fast hard drive. So that's what I've done here for this video. I've gone ahead and used the Windows Sandbox, and I installed the tools. The Windows Sandbox, once you close it, everything goes away. It's not saved, at least not on Windows 10. And if you reboot it, the tools also go away. But because everything I installed, like Node.js, Git for Windows, NVM for Windows, and also the Fly command line, none of those require a reboot of the machine. And I've opened up here the website. Also asked Google, what is Fly.io? And as we can see here, it says Fly.io transforms containers into micro VMs that run on our hardware in 30 regions on 6 continents. It's a platform for running full stack apps and databases close to your users. They've been building it since 2017. and it looks like they have an address in Chicago, Illinois, United States. And I also wanted to click on this, is it free forever? They go on to say they don't offer a free tier. Instead, they offer some free resources or free resource allowances that apply to all plans, including the hobby plan, which is the plan that I'll be using in this video. And it includes enough usage per month to run a small full stack app full-time for free. So that's some pretty good stuff there. Let's take a look at their main website here, and I'll just briefly walk through it, and then I'm going to go ahead and install it or show you how I installed it, and we're going to deploy an application to their platform all through a command line interface, which makes it really easy and fast. So as they said on the Google search, it transforms containers into micro VMs that run on their hardware in 30 regions and 6 continents. And this is what I did to install it on my Windows machine right here. I ran a PowerShell command, and they also have instructions for other platforms. So I've already done that previously before recording this video, so I won't be running it now, but I did just run that command there. Sandboxing at scale. Meet Fly Machines, full Linux micro VMs running on their metal, built from your own containers with a single command or API call. Launch instantly. Fly Machines boot in around 300 milliseconds, fast enough to start in response to HTTP requests. Clone globally. Use machines as templates to place your app in any region that they serve. Scale to 0. Pause machines when they're not in use, paying only for machines that actually run. That's pretty cool. Zero config secure networking. Machines automatically connect to their global Anycast network and to IPv6 private networks. Single sign-on and MFA, enterprise-ready security. Apps running on Fly Machines have KVM hardware isolation built on a memory-safe stack and running directly on their metal. So you can read some of this other stuff on their home page. I just wanted to point out a few things, and then they say here, use the tech you love, build with your favorite framework, no Docker file, no problem. Their CLI generates containers for most popular frameworks, including Rails, Phoenix, Node, Laravel, .NET, Next.js, and others. And you can see some companies that are using it there. You can also look at things like their pricing plans about the company and jobs that they have posted for developers. Their documentation is really good too, and we're actually going to go through some of that. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this, and then this is what we're going to walk through, the steps to build and run a static website. So right here on the left of the browser window, you can see they have instructions for running Elixir Phoenix app, running a Rails app, Laravel, Go apps, Ruby, Python, and .NET, and a Crystal app, as well as a few others. So they do have good instructions. I picked this run a static website. It's just a little bit more straightforward for a first video. I plan to look at some of the other options, including setting up databases, which they do offer that also. So the next step, we're going to go ahead and clone their code right here. So we can just copy this command, and I've created a directory here, and I'll just go ahead and paste it in there. And it went ahead and downloaded the code. So we can do a directory, and we'll change into the hello static directory. And we can see it created a Docker file, a fly.toml, index.html, a public folder. So we can go into the public folder, and you can see it created a couple files. So I'm going to go ahead and edit the index.html file. I meant to use Notepad. Sorry about that. All right, let's go ahead and use Notepad to open up the file. And we'll just say Scott says hello from Fly. Scott welcomes you to Hello from Fly with a static website. So let's go ahead and save those changes. So now we'll be able to see those changes show up in the website once it's up and running. I did want to quickly mention the tools installed here. So the Git for Windows, it installed these commands. I installed Chrome, and here's the Git folder. NVM for Windows, I went ahead and installed that I've talked about in other videos. And I have VS Code, although I'm not using it for this video because we don't really need it. It's on here though, and all that took probably about a minute to install it. So I started up this brand new Windows sandbox, installed my tools, and again, it's a great way to try out new technology like this without affecting your main machine. And when you're done, you can just close out the sandbox and it's like it never happened. So let's go back to the instructions here. Run a static website. Getting application running on Fly.io is essentially working out how to package it as a deployable image. Once packaged, it can be deployed to the Fly.io global application platform. So we're looking at how to deploy a static site on Fly.io. To be fair, a static site isn't an app, so we're really talking about deploying an app to serve some static content. In this demonstration, we'll use Go Static, a tiny web server written in Go that lets us serve static files with very little configuration. We'll provide a Docker file and our content for Fly. You can clone all the files needed for this example from the git clone like we did. So the next part is installing the Fly control and then logging in. And I've already installed the Fly control, but I'm going to pull up another page and show you. So if I just right click here on their installation guide and open a new tab, they have instructions on installing on Mac OS, on Linux, and then on Windows. So that's where you could just copy this command and run it. But since I've already done that, it's not necessary to do that again. Here I pulled up the PowerShell. I had left it open. That shows when I ran the command. So you can see that in this window here. And then it says it downloaded it and then it was installed successfully. And that's just like a default directory that's created inside of the Windows sandbox. So that's basically all you see on the screen when you install it from the Power. So then they go on to tell you here, if this is your first time with Fly.io, then go ahead and sign up. And so let's go ahead and open up a window and show what the sign up page looks like. When you're back on the home page, you can click on sign up. And I just did that. Here you can see you can sign up with Google or GitHub, or you can put in a name and an email address and a password and then create your account. And I will show you the dashboard after I created my account. So far I haven't had to add a credit card. There was one command line that I had run where it was asking for it, but like it timed out and I don't believe it ever accepted it. So if we look at the dashboard, there's no credit card information in there at this point. And I believe that they just allow you to kind of have a trial account to run this free application. Because I'm on the free plan, I went ahead and opened up my other command prompt I had open. And if you look here, you can see their documentation about how to delete a Fly app. It says Fly apps destroy and then the app name. Well, my other app name was called Scott's Hello Static. So I went ahead and typed that in here on the command line from the same directory where I was logged in with their command line tools. And I just said, go ahead and destroy it. And it says right here, destroy app or destroyed app Scott's Hello Static. So now I'm going to check my dashboard and make sure that it's gone before we create any more. Because I'm on a free account, they only give you very minimal resources to run an application. So let me check that. So here is the dashboard where I'm logged in to my free account. You can see here I'm on the hobby plan, 0 credits. I have not given it any credits to use. And if we scroll down here, we can see before I deleted it, it was listed right here under apps. So that app is no longer existing on the machine. So we can proceed to create our new application, and then we'll come back and look at this screen. So let's go back to our instructions. We'll go ahead and minimize that. And we'll proceed to run the instructions of creating this application. So let's go ahead and clear the screen and then do a directory and go back to the main root directory and show the files. So we have this fly.toml. Let's go ahead and type that out. And we can see the contents of it. Right now the app is going to be called Go Static Example, but I'm going to go ahead and change that name. So let's go ahead and edit this file again. And we're going to call this Scott's Hello World Static. So let's go ahead and do that. And the other information that is in this configuration file, I'm not going to change. So I'll just go ahead and save that and exit out. And so they're saying here at this point, if you have a local clone of the Hello Static repository, which we do, you could go ahead and just run fly launch and it would get the static site deployed without further ado, but that wouldn't be very illuminating. Let's go through what's included in the example repository and why. So we did clone the repository and we can see it has its own directory, which there's the files. We see the Docker file and the TOML file and the HTML file in the public directory. The fly CTL command line tool detects your app by the fly TOML file in the working directory. It also ensures there's no extra files being included in the build context when the Docker image gets built. So we'll do everything from within this directory that we're in, Hello Static. The site, it will be a simple static site that can be as trivial as an index.html file, and that's basically what we're doing here. But we also have a file that it links to, which we saw that in the public directory. So now we have this public directory with our two files, hello or index.html and goodbye.html. Then we have the Docker file. So we can go ahead and type that out. And you can see there's just 2 lines in it there. Go Static is designed to run in a container and the image is available at Docker Hub. This is super convenient for us because Fly apps need container images too. We can use the Go Static image as a base image. We just have to copy our site's files to the /srv/http in the image. And then you can see the instructions in the Docker file to do that. Then the Docker file should be placed in the working directory. In our case, it's the Hello Static So then configuring the app for fly.io, we set the initial configuration for the app by running the fly control launch. This takes care of setting the app name, the organization it belongs to, and a region to deploy it to. It also generates a fly.toml file with more configuration settings, but since we already have one, we just wanted to use what's already there. Now I'm going to go ahead and log in to the account off screen, so I'll be right back into the fly.io application or service. And here I pulled up a page. You can see how you sign in. You just type fly auth login and it pulls up a web browser where you can log into your account. So I'll do that off screen and be right back. So here's where it's going to ask for my information, and I'll go ahead and fill that in and then click on sign in. Once I did that, it says your fly control should be connected now. Feel free to close this tab, so I'll go ahead and do that. So I cleared the screen here in my command prompt, and now, as they explain here, we're going to run the fly control launch command. And it says the toml file was found for my application. Would you like to copy its configuration to the new app? And I'm going to say yes. Scanning source code detected a Dockerfile app. What do I want to call it? I'm going to go ahead and just hit enter and choose that name. Now it wants to know a region for deployment. I'll go ahead and pick Dallas, Texas. And now it says it created the app in organization personal. There's the admin URL, the host name. Would you like to set up a Postgres database now? Well, we don't need that for this video, so I'll say no. Do you want to set up an Upstash Redis database? I don't at this point. In another video, I may look at that. Then it says it wrote the configuration. Would you like to deploy now? So I'll go ahead and say yes. And then we'll just go ahead and let it build. And we'll just take a look at the running application here in a moment. Here you can see it said it created a machine, and then it created a second machine to increase service availability, and it did that automatically. Finished launching new machines. Visit your newly deployed app, and then there's the URL. So let's go ahead and open up a web browser. I'll go ahead and copy this URL into my clipboard and then paste it into a new browser tab. And so here is the new application up and running in the fly.io environment. You can see here it says Scott welcomes you to hello from Fly with a static website. And you can see the title there, which is what you saw me create in the video. Or if you click goodbye, it goes to the goodbye. So really just a matter of a couple of steps, a couple of mouse clicks, running a couple commands, and you can have an application up and running in their environment. It's nice just using simple command line tools and everything that happened after running the deploy command. I think it's a great technology to be experimenting with and thinking about using it for future projects. So I've scrolled back a little bit in the command window so we can see some of the things that it did here. You can see where I chose my region, and then it says it created the app, and it gave an admin URL for it, and it set the host name, and then it gets into the building part. So it says platform machines, configuration is valid, building an image, building an image with Docker. You can see there it transfers Docker file, loads metadata, loads build context, then it transfers it, exports it into an image, exports the layers, and then it writes it out. And then it tells us the image building is done and it's ready to push the image to fly. And then we can see how it pushed it. And then again, it tells us where you can watch your deployment and some other information about IP addresses and so forth. Then it tells us this deployment will create 2 app machines, which we'll take a look at those in a minute in the website, and how it launched a new machine. It says it finished it, it created a second machine as we saw scroll by before, and then finished launching new machines, and then it tells us it's ready. So you saw that happen, it really was fast. And again, all of the different types of applications you can deploy here and using Docker technology. I think it's really awesome, and you should definitely take a look. They do mention here you can type fly control open to open a browser to see the site that you created. So we can go ahead and try that. So let's go ahead and try that. Fly control open. And there it is. So it saves a couple steps of not having to copy and paste and open up web browser tabs and things like that. So that's a handy little command. And again, there's all these other options here. Running Rails, Laravel, Go apps, Ruby apps, Python, .NET, Crystal. So there's a lot of flexibility here. So let's go back and look at our dashboard now. So I pulled up the Fly.io dashboard page, which you can see here. If we scroll down just a little bit, we can see the app, Scott's Hello World static app that you just saw me build, and I can click on that. And they do say here, hobby, great for side projects, test environments, or just learning how to use Fly. Run basic full stack apps for free and pay as you go as your project grows. So no credits, nothing used. And they do have some extra metrics. It's a preview of a managed Grafana service, so I was checking that out also. It looks pretty interesting. If I click on the app here, let's go ahead and do that. And it takes us into an overview, and you can see some statistics about this application, how much average memory is used, what the average load is, what the host name is, the machine size that was used, the IP address. If we look at the bottom here, we can see other icons to click on. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of those. So here, if we look at monitoring, there's some interesting information shown here, and you could change by region or instances. And if we scroll down a little, we can see the machines that represent my running app. And we see that there's 2 of them that it set up, as we saw when we were building it. And health check changes. It just is telling us that the health check on port 8043 is now passing, so we know that it's okay. You can also look at metrics. Because there's not a lot of data, it was just set up. We don't see a lot here. But if we scroll down, we can see there's some data in and data out recorded. Firecracker load average, Firecracker memory usage. Here we can see memory used, memory total. And if you were using or setting up certificates, you can click on that and see that list here. Activity shows you when you did deployments. Secrets if you set up those. Volumes if you were using volumes, which is another thing I will look at in another video. This actually shows the machines, which we've looked at in another screen, and if you had set up tokens, and then some other settings, which is also where you can delete this, and I'll be deleting it when the video is completed. So there's your dashboard on Fly.io. I think it's pretty useful. It has enough information to tell you what's going on, and I just think this is a great upcoming technology to be working with. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be talking to you a little later. Thanks for watching. If you like this channel, please like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when I post new content.